To those of you who are consciously turning your attention and your love towards the light, I, God Himalaya, greet you this day in deep gratitude. The time has come, beloved precious hearts, for humanity to close the chapter of the last 100 years, this last century, time to allow your true spiritual identities and the identity of the nations of the world and their destiny to rise and ready for the light and love of God, to pour to the people of earth the light and the love of God, to pour to the nations of the world. I thank you for your presence with me today. Myself, God Himalaya, as I am known, and other gods of the mountains, such as God Teba and God Meru, unite with others of the ascended host, and we are presently drawing forth the cosmic light substance from our physical sun and the great central sun. For us, the gods of the mountains, we are storing this great light in the mountains of the world to both stabilize your planet Earth and to pour that light to those on Earth who are seeking and worshiping the light of God that never fails. The time is upon humanity to usher in the great cosmic light, to assist this new seventh golden age to unfold and to remove the darkness that continues to limit the people of earth and harms the powers of nature and the forces of the elements. Now, when we who are ascended and free and serve planet Earth and live deep within the magnificent mountains such as the Himalayas, when we, as is our responsibility, draw forth from great heights of eternal perfection, the cosmic light and the cosmic power of cosmic love to your world, then the atmosphere of Earth itself receives the blessings of that light substance that is also drawn into the lower structure of the Earth and into the mental and feeling world of humankind. Previously, we have drawn forth only at intervals, as the cosmic law has allowed us to. Yet now we can draw the greater light continuously, without interruption, as the seventh golden age gets underway. And now, due to an event the mass of the people have no idea, no knowledge of. And the event of which I speak of is the construction of the Ark of the Covenant, composed of the steely rays of light. Precious hearts, after decades of construction by Ascended Master engineers, the Ark of the Covenant officially opened a few days ago on September 9th. Presently, many Ascended Master stations are being constructed upon the Ark. The Ark rises up and out of the earth in a place near Darjeeling in India, up into the atmosphere, across the great ocean, and then descends back into the earth at a place near Chicago, the United States of America. Recently, Mother Akasha hosted a group of Ascended Masters to the students of the Radiant Rose Academy who spoke into the ark and its purpose. Suffice it to say for now, the purpose of the ark is to make all life upon the earth, and that includes the people, self-luminous beings of light, as was the original intention of the spiritual growth of the humanities of your world. Now these mighty ascended master stations upon the ark, they will join our work, the gods of the mountains, in releasing much greater light to the people and all nations of the world, all kingdoms, the powers of nature as well. The outpouring of light, beloved hearts, is always to awaken the desire in humankind to turn to the light, which is the constructive way of life, and to begin to try to hold to something better than they have yet experienced. Now, when this greater light substance, and I am not speaking of what you term sunshine, when this greater light substance and their mighty rays is drawn from the physical sun and the great central sun of our universe into your earth, the love of this cosmic light substance charges into the physical conditions of the outer world as well. And it draws upon the feeling of the people and tries to raise them to greater connection with their own higher activities of their own higher selves. Activities that often your higher God selves are ready to bring forth into your lives and worlds. Now, precious hearts, much of this is the same regarding nations, and I wish to speak to you for a few moments about nations and how a nation's identity determines the realization of a nation's destiny. There is a mighty connection here, and I invite Mother Akasha to explore the realization of that connection. That it is the nation's identity, when that identity is allowed, determines the fulfillment of a nation's destiny. In all this work of the light that we are engaged in, we come to bring this cosmic light substance equally into the atmosphere of nations with which we are working with at this time. Now, since all nations have a divine plan and purpose, we work with those nations whose time has come to receive the kind of divine intervention that assists a nation to rise into its true identity and ultimately achieve its destiny. And with the divine plan of both India and America, within that plan, there is to be now a balancing activity between both these nations. And this requires this cosmic light substance that I am speaking of today, that the Goddess of Light speaks of, and its intensifying love to come and expand the light within the heart of each individual, to the point where the outer self becomes so discontented with all the limited human creation by which it is surrounded. This is a divine plan for individuals and for nations. Precious hearts, as more of us come to speak in these Ascended Master broadcasts on this channel, we hope you realize that every broadcast is a gem of light. We are coming to familiarize you with the work of the Ascended and Angelic Host, to assist your beloved kind, to usher in the light and the love of this new seventh golden age that has just begun as quickly as possible, and to bring to an end all the suffering that is on your planet, and raise all life into greater states of enlightenment, and also life for human beings to begin to live within the heart of essential harmlessness to yourselves, to each other, and all life upon the planet and the planet itself. Know, beloveds, that as the light within your heart expands, and you call to your own God presence and to the Ascended and Angelic Host, then the cosmic light substance that we are pouring forth into your world forms a protective atmosphere or aura around the outer self of the individual, every individual, whose light is expanding. We wish you to understand these activities so that you can cooperate with them and with us. Now, this same activity occurs concerning a nation and its civilization. When a group of people within a nation are determined to stand with God and make the command for the light, love, and truth of God come forth in their lives, then to that group there comes assistance of this activity of cosmic light of which I speak of today. And then this becomes the strength of greater constructive activity from those groups of individuals within their nations, and assist those nations to remain steadfast to their identities and fulfill their destinies. Now, India, for centuries long, had within her borders those individuals, those life streams, who loved the light and knew that only devotion to the light was important in this world. They had become those great lights throughout the ages who have given the love and law of God to their people many times over. Such beings as Babaji himself. A similar thing had taken place centuries ago in China. I am not speaking of the government of China now. I am speaking of former ages where nations such as China and India maintain their spiritual identities and destinies through many civilizations. And even though conquerors have come, those conquerors have not been able to absorb their people into their wickedness. These two nations today continue to stand. India and China continue to maintain their identities, yet they too must now allow their peoples to rise once again to greater states of light, love, and freedom. We are ready to unite with the people of Earth through all that we can offer the world. And we are ready to unite with you to open a new chapter in your world. And so too, this shall be within America, if her people will take their stand. Think upon it, beloved precious hearts. India and China have maintained their identity regardless of all the conquerors who came, regardless of all the viciousness and war down through the ages. Because long ago, the law of cosmic truth in ancient constitutions of those nations, in their beginning, was stated and known in the beginning of those nations. And there was always a number of individuals, a number of life streams, whose light was strong enough, who took embodiment in those nations to help hold their identity against all outer destruction and intrusion. And I say unto you, beloved hearts, and so it is now for America and other nations of the world today. There are those strong life streams within your borders who made their decision at the inner level before coming to the world to come into embodiment in America and other free nations at this time and be the strength of the light to help America, to help your nation stand for freedom against the forces that are determined to destroy freedom for humankind. As the people of India and China have maintained the integrity of their identity, regardless of their governments, so too must America guard and maintain the integrity of her identity. America, it might interest you to know, precious hearts, since she was and must become once again the Garden of Eden, must even more so now, more than any other time, must maintain the integrity of her identity, and America now must fight for this. I, God Himalaya, and the gods of the mountains. We thank you, precious hearts, for your love. And what I know will be your response: to protect and maintain the integrity of America's identity and her destiny. And this includes all other free nations of the world. And may each of you who understand what I am saying, may each of you be held within the commanding love of my heart for your love of America, for your love of all free nations of the world, and that you command of us to release from the great mountains of the world the great cosmic light, to join with you in securing the integrity of the identity of America and all free nations of the world, that their destinies, the destiny of their peoples, may be realized and fulfilled. I desire you to realize that in the rest of the world, nations have come and gone. Civilizations have come and civilizations have gone. Look at Europe today. Centuries ago, one mighty nation, one mighty identity, taken down by conquerors and vicious forces. And now Europe is but a landmass of many small countries, each trying to maintain their own identity, even in the presence of the European Union. You wish not to know the vicious forces that broke up the original identity of Europe. And now you have all these smaller countries trying to maintain an integrity of their own identities as they seek some form of reunion in the European Union. And so it is. Yet throughout all these centuries of time, China and India alone, in the presence of conquerors who came, still maintain their unique borders and identities. And I say to you, beloved precious hearts, the same must now be for America and other nations of the world. Your people are going to have to take a greater stand against forces of downright viciousness who hate your freedom. The people must rise. Guard your freedoms. For I say unto you, you do not desire that hour to come where you realize you have lost your freedom. Therefore, together, let us close the current chapter, the last 100 years in the world's history, in a way that only that which goes into the future is that which is the light, and enough light to maintain the strength and devotion of the people to God that holds the identity of a nation strong, united, and maintained into the future. Everything we are doing, everything we are seeking to get your attention and cooperation is for the future. And that is why, precious hearts, we are guarding America and other free nations of the world, just as surely as we guard India and China, that they too may achieve their destinies. We will guard anything that is constructive within any nation of your world. Yet I say unto you, we ask you to understand that yet when the proportion of destructive activities in any nation lowers the moral standard of the people, lowers the light of the people, and is degrading the people, the time has come for those governments responsible to lose their power, to lose their influence over the people. For I, Himalaya, say unto your world that if the individuals in governments will not guide the people towards the light, keep the people harmonized and purified enough, help the people to raise themselves higher and greater, well, if those governments won't do it, and they continue to degrade the people, then I say unto you, with the mighty might of the majestic mountains, those governments must be dissolved. For this to occur, beloved precious hearts, the good people of earth must be strengthened enough with cosmic light substance to be their source of strength and protection to rise up. For I say unto you, that is coming, precious hearts, a great resistance in this world, and it is a resistance of the people, and by the people, and for the people. And we join that resistance, and we are placing all destructive forces and people in your world who are trying to steal the freedom of the people, trying to steal the freedom and the identities of nations. We say to all of you and your destructive forces, change your ways or face your own viciousness and destructive ways turning back upon you. I, God Himalaya, and the other majestic gods of the earth, we are putting those who serve discord and selfishness, those whose tyrannical plans are to take the freedoms of the people and nations away from them, we are putting you on notice. Change your ways, change your plans, or face your own vicious and destructive ways turning back upon you. For I say unto you, and may every great mountain range, may every great mountain throughout the world ring the bells the bells of liberty, the bells of freedom, the sacred edict, the constitution of life itself. The light of God never fails. The love of God always fulfills. And the truth of God always prevails. I, Himalaya, and others of the ascended host, come to arm each of you in the cosmic light of God that never fails. And as long as there are a few of you who will accept this, accept what we come to offer, we will keep coming back. And we will come and strengthen for those who stand for the God integrity, God identity of all peoples and all nations, that their presence in this world, individually and with nations, is realized and fulfilled. In freedom's eternal flame, I leave you, yet I will return. Our dear friends of the light, hesitate not to call upon the great mountain beings, the gods of the mountains, and let us come to you and fill you with our Herculean mountain strength, light, and power. Dear friends, namaste, namaste, namaste.